Hey guys, so we're going to do a reading. So I'm going to do a quick one. I'm going to try to keep it short, sweet, to the point. But I know a lot of you may be watching the whole issue with the government shutdown. There's a lot of concern. Obviously, federal workers getting paid. They're about to miss a paycheck, or some already have missed a paycheck. And then the SNAP benefits. A lot of people worried about the food. We got 42 million Americans who depend on the food and stuff. And, a lot of people, hopefully, you guys are wise enough to know that there are people who work some 2 to 3 jobs and get food assistance. They may have a big family or things like that. Just, the pay doesn't cut it and they qualify for, food assistance. The food banks are already getting busy and stuff like that. So what do we have to look forward to? And so one of the things we're going to kind of look at, how long is this going to go? I'm going to look at, are these guys going to actually miss their SNAP benefits? We're going to look into that. And try to predict maybe when this comes to an end. Maybe kind of see, will something happen where, obviously the Democrats are holding out because the whole issue is healthcare. And that's one of the big things. The Republicans, guys, remember, they're the ones with the main power here. They could give somewhere, but that Moses Mike Johnson, he keeps, just go, everybody go home, and we're dealing with that while many people are being impacted. And then we have the Orange Menace building a ballroom. If you guys were MAGA before and you happen to see this and you're now being impacted, now I'm not trying to throw salt in the wounds and all, but I hope you understand that he never cared about you. Okay, he is literally, people may starve to death and he's enjoying his ballroom piece, making that his priority. Okay, so now let's just get to it, go straight to the read and kind of see. So we're going to open up with a Lenormand and kind of see what the cards have to say. First of all, yeah, so we've got the rock here. We've got this huge mountain. It's actually a mountain. So one of the things is this is a major obstacle and stuff. And, a good way also, even, this mountain and everything, is the divide even between the two parties, Republican and Democrats. They're holding up everything while they cannot, and they're being stubborn. Like when you say stubborn as a rock, they're both being stubborn on this and nobody is given. And what they got to do is they got to negotiate. You may have to give a little here, and this side may have to give a little there. And each one just has not budged on their side. So they're just not budging. Like this mountain, they're not moving. Okay, so that's very concerning that the mountain is just not moving. Okay, and stuff like that. And we got the fox energy. So this could be that sneaky energy, shifty, shady, and everything. But we've got like this, fox and stuff. And one of the big fox moves, which he could kind of steal things like chickens, stuff like that. The big beautiful bill is a big, it was probably the greatest theft in history. Okay, is stealing from the poor to give to the rich. Okay, that's, the big beautiful bill had a fox woven into it. Okay, it's right there, guys. It's right in your face and stuff. Now, then we've got this moon energy. And really the reason why I think this is kind of coming in here is we're dealing with, kind of some unknown mystery energy. A lot of people want to know, what's going on and stuff and everything. My concern is the dog. What the dog can imply is loyalty, and the GOP is so incredibly loyal to Trump, not to the American people and stuff. And we've got this kind of dog and it's loyal and everything like that. And that's the thing. Their allegiance is not to the people or the Constitution, but the loyalty is to Trump and stuff. And that's why they don't want to go against his ego and stuff and everything. And this is really where all parties and also America, people need to use their wisdom and stuff. We've got this owl here and stuff. But yeah, that's where the loyalty is. The loyalty is not to the American people. It is to their fearless leader, Donald Trump. Now, And let's go ahead and look at thought. It's one of the things, if it's bad, it's going to tell you. Okay? It doesn't hold anything back and stuff. So we got the Eight of Wands and everything. That is a swiftness card and everything. And really, everything's really held up. So it's kind of funny we get this energy. But I feel one of the things that I'm kind of tuning in here and stuff is there's a lot of people are like, you got to move, you got to do something. When is the government going to reopen? So I feel this is more issue at hand. When is something going to budge? When is something going to move, get going so we can all return to our lives? We could get paychecks, we could get our food and everything. This is the issue. When is it going to happen? And that's what we're looking at for you guys and stuff like that and everything. Now we've got the Princess of Cups energy, so we're trying to kind of narrow down some of that energy and stuff. And we are kind of in Scorpio energy. Boy, I hope it would happen in Scorpio. That's what people are hoping for. But let's go ahead and see. And stuff like that. Yeah, a lot of it has to do with the gain card. Who really gains from all this? The rich. Okay, that's the big thing, the transference of wealth. And the Democrats are kind of holding out, don't take their health care. And, GOP is like, no, we're going to let those premiums go up. And then, of course, we've got the worry card. A lot of people are afraid of end up being homeless, out in the street, hungry, cold. So I want you guys to notice that the worry card, the gain, the rich, and then the poor, the destitute, people that could be homeless, sit side by side each other. Okay? And so are we noticing that? What's the overlapping card? Ruin. Oh boy, that's not good. And so this whole thing is just an absolute disaster. I knew the ruin card was going to come. So what does this kind of tell me here? This tells me that most likely people are not going to get their SNAP benefits. Okay, so we're looking at least a month of no food during Thanksgiving, of all times and stuff like that. How long is this going to go? We're going to roll dice on that as well. What else are we looking at? And a lot of people are, like I said, working, and everything. American people, we got a lot of federal workers that are still working. Some are on furlough and stuff. And yeah, the tower, the collapse is hard. We got ruin, we got the tower. I mean, this is an absolute disaster. Except we may see people in the streets, if they don't get their food, okay? There's some stuff there and stuff. But I've also got the Nine of Cups energy and stuff, which can be about to get our wish. So the government is going to reopen, guys. It will, inevitably here. But it's, oh yeah, the shadiness, the seven of swords here. I mean, the betrayal, of the American people here, though. So, don't think it's going to be forever like this. The food will come back, okay? But it's still going to be different. The one thing is Trump, the Republicans, a lot of people are going to walk away from him because of this, okay? But at the same time, people are upset with the Democrats, too. How it came down to this, how it was so weakened is crazy and stuff. But yeah, the karma, the justice, the energy there and stuff, that can also be symbolic for the government when we have the justice card like that and stuff like that. Now, the Hierophant energy, it's really going to be communities taking care of each other, maybe churches trying to come together and help people and things like that, charities and things. The Hierophant can be symbolic for that as well. Except but a lot of things are going to change under this. Okay, so yeah, there's going to be people affected in very terrible ways. There are people, maybe get evicted and things like that. It's going to happen. We got the ruin card, but the good thing is the government will reopen when though. Let's go ahead and see. It's kind of funny. This is going to be a hard one. I've got number 11. Okay, but I feel, and then I've also got number 12. Okay, so I've got both. So it could be around the 12th. I'm kind of feeling more so around the 12th of November and stuff and everything, unless, and this is where it's kind of hard, that it's talking about opening in December. So it's, and I'll show you the way they laid out. So we've got 11, Jupiter. Now, Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius, which is the 12th month. Okay, so that is there as well. The Cancer sign, that could be symbolic of, for example, the moon might be in Cancer. I would have to look that up. I don't have my phone handy. Sorry. So it's, a lot of stuff obviously going down November, but it might be November 12th that it reopens, unless it is saying a lot of stuff goes down in November as far as people not getting their food, and then reopens the 12th. Now, the good thing, it'll be no later than December. I can say that. But I'm looking more around November 12th area. God, I hope so. I hope so. But then I see that Jupiter, which I know is the ruler of Sagittarius. So it's possible. I mean, it could go so far even into December. I think we're looking at the longest shutdown in history. It's going to go further and stuff, but I would say, but I'm kind of leaning a little more November 12th and stuff, because something's got to happen. I mean, that's when everybody's be like, I don't have no food, I got no paycheck, and stuff like that. So definitely no later than December though. Okay, for sure. If it's, so it's saying one or the other, it's kind of hard to determine. It's kind of a tricky one and everything. But so it could be anywhere November. It could be November 12th, or it could be saying all the way to December, from November to December kind of energy and stuff. But it will come to an end. So I don't want you guys worrying about that the government is going to stay shut down into next year or anything. It won't go that long. Okay, so that makes me feel a little better. But what does it make me feel better is there are going to be people that are, like you said, got the rune card, that tower. I mean, it's just catastrophic in their life, things like that. How, there might be, people that lose their place and all that, because of that, or go without food for a significant amount of time where they have to rely on food banks to get by. So it's a tough one, guys. All right, you guys, have a good one.